Hello, Team Easy Daters. I am so excited for today's interview. I have been following this guy from afar for about a year and a half, and everyone in my industry has been mentioning his name. And this is literally the first time I got to interact with him. So, just like you guys, I'm so excited. I'm going to learn a lot, and all of you are going to learn a ton. This guy's been in the industry for, what is it, 13 years, Adam?
Yeah, 13 years now.
13 years. So Adam Gilad, say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hello. So, guys, a little bit about Adam. He's been a monster. He's been all over this. He's Coach Matthew Hussey. He's helped men. He's helped women. But what I first want to talk about is he's talked to thousands of men. So, Adam, tell the ladies, what do men want?
There's a movie coming out, by the way. They had the What Women Want with Mel Gibson. They're updating it and reversing it, what men want.
Really?
Yeah, it's coming out next year. I can answer it a few different ways. Most helpfully, as every man wants something different. So let's always be careful of thinking all men want the same thing. But that said, I have worked with thousands, really tens of thousands of men and women, and really, let's do what both want. Both want to be accepted and recognized, right? They want to be seen. So first thing first, you want to accept. That men want to be accepted, women want to be accepted. We all want a home in the world, right? We can hang our hat and just say, here I'm accepted. I'm flawed. Brene Brown is great on this. I'm not perfect and I'm worthy of love. Bam. That's it. That's everybody. Okay, men and women. Men also want to be admired. They want to be respected. And this is really important for women to understand, that the language of love for men is actually admiration and respect. I've had women say to me early on, oh my God, I love you. And I love you. And I'm like, yes, so what? But if they say like, hey, I really admire you. I'm like, really? Tell me more. It's like, but like I got into this field because I got divorced at 40, got married very, very young. Actually, I'm going out with my ex and all the kids and tomorrow night. But it was a very peaceful divorce. We ran our course. And I was terrified. I had no idea how to date. I'd been married since 23. But I'm a writer. I taught writing at Stanford. I'm an Emmy-nominated producer, writer. Here's something you don't know. I wrote the Ann Landers Dear Abby movie for Lifetime TV. How do you like that?
Wow.
And then I ended up doing it. But writing is really one of my strengths. And so when I went online, I was like, well, I can write to women. I don't have to go out and find them. What a great thing. I mean, I can filter really quickly who's got what I want, who can express herself. And what I learned really quickly is that both men and women write in the language of their own gender, of course, because that's how we speak. So men will write to men in their profiles. They'll write in terms of status. I've been to 27 countries. I'm an attorney. I have 2 dogs named this. I have 3 sisters. These are my accomplishments. That's how men talk to each other, right? Status. And then women will write profiles that sound like this. I love my family. I love my friends. Here's a picture of my cat. And men go, so what? And they look at a picture and they go past, because it doesn't speak to men. It's not the language they're speaking. What women are saying when they write that, because they're speaking the language of women, is my life is built around love. But men can't see it because women aren't using the correct language. So that's how I got started in all of this. So when I teach women how to communicate with the right man, the language of love is couched in terms of respect, admiration, and reward. Also reward, because men are, I call us Pavlov's gender. Right? We conditioned response. Men will respond. There's a comedian, Owen Benjamin, who's great on this. And he says, if you want to get a man to take out the garbage, you don't go, why don't you take out the garbage? How come you don't take out the garbage? I've worked so hard. If you want to chase a man away, that's the easiest way in the world. What you do is, and this is the comedian's version, you go, who's really good at taking out the garbage? Who's so good at taking out the garbage? You're so good at taking out the garbage. I am? Okay, I'll do it. So that Pavlov's gender, men or dogs, we're very easily conditioned. And if women generally can accept that and work with it, you'll actually get what you want. So it's the funny version, it's the comedy version, but men are really, if you have a good man, we rise up into our nobility by you raising us up. Anytime you crush down, you lose us. Nobody wants that. Men find feminine criticism really hard to hear, but your input is crucial to raise us up to be the best men we can. But we need to be challenged in a raising way rather than a squashing way. So positivity early on is super important. If we're talking about early dating, positivity is super important. In my book on online dating, I say there's 13 signals that men look for. One is I'm a happy woman. That's number one. Men want a happy woman. They don't want a burden in their lives. I've heard this 1,000 times. And I've heard of women, by the way, too. They don't want to marry some guy who's a burden, right? We want to enhance our lives. So I'm a happy woman. I'm self-regulating, right? I've done my inner work. Number two, I like men. So few women say that, but guys, it's a funny culture these days, right? Guys are kind of on the defensive. There's a lot of toxic masculinity and a lot of Me Too, and there's a lot of stuff in the air that's important. And a lot of guys are like they feel very defensive. And I work with a lot of guys on this, by the way. I have a whole online forum just for men to help them through the defensiveness and the dismissiveness and really hear what women are saying. So I like men. And then especially I like men who, and then you list the high character qualities you're looking for. Then you offer the reward, right? That's how to really catch the attention of a man in the beginning. So I think that's fairly universal. And again, I'll just add that caveat. Different men want different things, but accepted, rewarded, raised up, inspired. And I always say to women, and again, you may not like it, but it's true that feminine joy is masculine bliss. When you bring joy into our lives, there's a song. There's a reason why there's no song with a woman singing to a man, "You light up my life," right? Women light up men's lives. And that's really what we can do most shit by ourselves, right? But we can't bring that light, that joy, that the beauty. I mean, here she is. She's making this beautiful soup. She went out and bought flowers this morning. I mean, like, she brings joy into my world, right? So that's a primer. That's a beginning.
Good start. I love that. Adam, I think there was one super gold nugget that really resonated with me, and I want to talk more to you about it. The thing that really hit home was you said, if a woman says, "I love you," you're like, cool.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah,
hey,
and you know what? I feel the exact same way. Like, all right, cool. She said, "I love you." Great. But you said something, when she admires me, that really lights you up. So I want you to give me an example of how a woman can admire you so that women really understand this concept, because I think it's really missed, and it's so, so important. It can really elevate a relationship.
Great question. I absolutely agree. Really good question. So admire and respect. The reason why it lights us up is because that's how we feel loved often. We won't get into love languages and all that. That's all true as well. But for example, the way I teach it, and because I've been doing this a long time, I want people to focus on the highest game possible. So the thing to admire and respect is not the car, it's not the house. Some guys really vibe on accomplishment. That's fine. I would say the great middle of mediocrity people, guys will like that. But the great men, what I call the Camelot man, the noble man that you want, he'll respond when you notice something noble about him, a character quality. What I really admire about you is, on the simplest level, how you treated the waitress, right? I just noticed how you treat people, and it's so refreshing to see a man treat people with such natural respect. Ready? Here's the reward. That really turns me on. Or I find that really attractive. There's the reward. Now men know, I should be paying attention, because that wakes them up, right? I did something good, and there's a potential reward. I'll keep doing that thing, right? That's what I mean by Pavlov's gender. So I always say go after character qualities. I mean, look, if they run a great business and their employees love them, what I really admire about you is how you handle so much pressure and still maintain grace, and how people respect you and defer to you, but it's with kindness. It's not out of fear. I love how you maintain such a beautiful order in your business. Of the craftsmanship, right? I love the craftsmanship you bring to your work. If they're maybe a what do you call them? If they're a craftsperson, some kind of carpenter or mechanic. So something about their character, not about the outer show. And it should be obvious, but I just want to say that. So find something about their character, because that's what's going to matter in the long run, right? That's what's going to matter. Honesty, authenticity, vulnerability. Anytime a man shows vulnerability, especially, acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge, appreciate, reward. That's the magic, I always say acknowledge and reward a good man into great love. That's how it happens.
Oh, that was awesome. So what we got there, he's got a three-step process. Acknowledge, What was it? Acknowledge, say it again.
Acknowledge,
Compliment.
appreciate, and reward.
Yes. Okay, so that's the process.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was putting that in male brain because I like my process.
Of course, it's a formula, right? That's men like. What's the 3-step formula to meet the woman of your dreams? Right?
Yes. All right, Adam.
Yes.
So now I'm going to challenge you.
Here you go.
You wrote a book, How to Date Up.
Yes.
And we are going to have you teach us the 3 steps of this book in 15 minutes, which I know is going to be really hard because it's a lot to do. But we're going to do it because you're a rock star. So first of all, How to Date Up.
Yeah, the book is called Date Up. It's on Amazon. And it really is kind of the culmination of my work for the last 14 years with both men and women. 3 parts, right? Because we all want to date up. And I'm in LA. So dating up means, one thing. Right? It has a common parlance of having to do with money and stuff like that. But that's not what I'm talking about at all. And you're in New York, so same thing. But dating up means dating up in character, dating up in personality, dating up in care, dating up in vulnerability, dating up in communication skills. Like, how do you attract a man who has these qualities that will actually make your life a happy place? So there's 3 parts, basically. And there really are 3 steps here. So it'll make your male formula brain happy. The first part is to clean up, right? You got to clean up your shit. You got to go of what's keeping you small and egoic. You have to let go of the wounds of the past on some level. And we can talk about that. The second step is to aim up, which is to really taking your upgraded mindset from the first part of cleaning up and then fixing your broken picker. Like, you have to understand where you've been aiming. And especially, and I'm sure you've dealt with this a lot, Mike, people keep attracting the same partner in different bodies. So you have to learn to really do, and I give an analysis, kind of a how-to of why are you attracting certain character types. And so we kind of fix the picker, and then we aim higher, specifically around, and this word keeps coming out, character, right? So that's number 2. So it's clean up, aim up, and here's the big one. And I think it's more true now than ever. Speak up, like really stand up and ask for what you want. That means on your online profile, like ask with clarity and precision for, especially, I'll use the word again, the character of the man you want, because guys can't fake character. They can fake behavior. So you don't ask for behaviors, you ask for character. Because guys who aren't that, they can fake it for a while, but they really know that they can't fake character. Right? And character comes out specifically through their relationships with the people in their lives. So don't make any decisions until you see them interacting with the people in their lives, their kids, their family, their friends, their colleagues, and pay very close attention to how people treat them. Not what they say to you about them necessarily, but how they interact with each other. It's funny, and that I really got from dear old mom, who is 89 and still kicking. My father unfortunately passed, but they were married over 50 years. And I asked her, why him? Like, why dad, right? So my mom was very wealthy and very beautiful, kind of a New York socialite, sort of, just the best of everything. And my dad was a super poor kid from Brooklyn who went off to World War II to fight. He registered on his birthday, day he turned 18, came back, came from a humble family. And I said, why him? And she said it wasn't him at first. She forgot who he was. But he called. He was a little persistent. And then she saw him with his friends. And she saw the warmth and respect and love they had for each other and said, wow, if this guy attracts this caliber of person in his life, he's got to be something. And that really caught her attention. So got that one from my parents. How do you like that? So how do you speak up for what you want? Look, dating is serious business. Relationship is very serious business. People treat it like a frippery. They don't treat it with the same seriousness they treat business, right? You and I are different. I mean, this is our life in some ways, right? We take it very seriously. And yet people don't really have the rigor of learning how to speak in a language the other gender feels and understands, how to develop the skill sets to be a fantastic partner, right? That's a big one for me, because when I got single 18 years ago, I was a pretty good partner, but I was young and I was wrapped up in my ego and all that stuff. And then I became really good at dating. I focused on dating, and then I had to really focus on, well, what makes a great partner once I really wanted to get into a relationship. It was a very different skill set. And by the way, let me just plug something. AdamGilad.com/smart. I do it's my Smart Daters Academy, where I read all the top books and research on dating, and it's a sort of a book club, and I do a video every week about great books, so you don't have to read them because people don't have time. But I think the skills that people get in the Smart Daters Academy are essential for relationships. So taking it really seriously. So anyway, yeah, those are the 3 steps: clean up, aim up, speak up. What do you want to talk about first?
Yes, there are 2 things that I really want to talk about. First thing, I feel like no woman ever wants to talk about this, but this is the game changer. I have so many women coming to me, and they have no clue that they keep dating the exact same avatar of a man. Like you said, a different guy, or same guy, different body. And I want 2 things from you out of this. How do women diagnose that they're doing this? And then how do they fix it?
Read my book. It's part 2. That's one way. I think also, look, a great coach, someone like you, a great therapist who really specializes in this kind of thing, will go back to childhood. So let's just do a broad overview of how personality works. We develop strategies as small children on how to build the illusion of safety, right? Because safety is ultimately just an illusion. So we're not safe. But we build an illusion of safety, and we try to create as much safety as possible. So we build a certain kind of personality. That means we develop strategies to cope with pain and to elicit pleasure from people, right? To bring it's the way a baby smiles at a mother, right? Mirror neurons. They smile at the mother, and the mother smiles, and, oh, I got her, right? It's very early. So this is pure evolution, pure survival strategy, and it's all fine and good. The dark side of that is we develop these strategies very early, and then we just keep them, even though they may not be true or may not really work, or more importantly, they don't serve our highest goals. So, for example, a deep pleaser, like if you ever read the Nice Girl Syndrome, for example, that book, women and men, there's the nice, No More Mr. Nice Guy, same book, different gender. It's a little different, but the diagnosis is the same. For pleasers, they start like just putting themselves second very early. More women do it than men. They put themselves second, they put the other person first, and you get something out of it, right? You get people doing things for you, or accepting you, or showering you with gifts, or, bring you into their circle, or marrying you perhaps, right? But the problem is that doesn't build a strong relationship. It doesn't serve your highest goal, which is self-expression and being loved for you instead of the mask of the pleaser that you've been putting on your whole life. So how do you handle this? You got to do some deep diving. People call it work. I don't like to call it work. My whole company is called The Higher Game, because I think this is a big game. We're playing at life. Now, it's not, light play, it's skilled play. I always say, like, be LeBron in dating, So I assume everyone knows who LeBron James is. It's like, it's bliss to watch him play. Like, he's just a master of the field. He's just mastered everything, and he plays all out. So you've got to really look at your internal life and how you process information, what the personality masks you've developed. And we all have them, by the way. There's lots of theory, psychological theory, that all our personality is really just strategies for safety. So the way that we're charming, the way that we're kind, the way that we're generous, all childhood strategies. So to unpack those in the spirit of play, of like, hey, wow, I'm a human being. I developed these strategies as a kid. They got me here, but they won't take me to the promised land. They won't get me fully self-expressed, and attracting someone who loves me for the fully self-expressed person I am, instead of the, mask of strategies that I developed as a kid. So long way of saying, good therapist, good coach, the book Date Up, but it takes persistence to really, I'm in my 50s, and I've been unraveling stuff that I didn't realize from my early childhood, getting ready for a relationship. So.
Great answer. I love that. That's perfect. All right, let's talk about Speak Up.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
One of my favorite subjects. So there's a myth.
Hold on, I have a specific question. Do you mind?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. So I'm like, you just turned me on and all.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Let's talk online dating, because I know you got started with that and writing.
Yes.
And so you're going to be the king of this. Women are going out there and going on their profile and writing like, I don't want a man that just wants to have sex. I don't want this. I don't want that. And that's speaking up. But then the man reads and the eligible bachelor is like, I want nothing to do with her. She's scaring me away.
Right, of course.
So how do we have women present themselves and speak up and say what they want but in an effective way.
It's in the book, Date Up. I swear to God, this is one of the first things I had to get across to women. I call that the Dear file. So like, imagine a woman sits down, all right, dear asshole. Number 1, don't be an asshole. Number 2, don't be a narcissist. Number 3, don't be cheap. Number 4, like any good man will not read further. The only person who will read further is someone who is a super narcissist who wants to prove that he can win over someone so negative, right? Or someone incredibly codependent who has no self-esteem. I assume most women listening to this don't want either of those two guys. So very simple in terms of speaking up. You speak up in a positive tone. Let's go back to feminine joy is masculine bliss, okay? Your joy, your positivity is what we want in our lives. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have bad days. It doesn't mean you can't have critiques, if you're in a relationship. But if you want to attract a high-level man, you've got to start by shining a bright light so that you stand out from the other 10 jillion women online, right? That's unless you happen to look like, Scarlett Johansson, just like guys, if they happen to look like Brad Pitt, great, go online and you'll meet everybody. But let's get real. Most people don't look like that. I don't, right? So the words you write have to really capture the attention and inspire the spirit. So you inspire the spirit not by being negative. You inspire really bad partners by being negative up front. It's a competitive marketplace, right? There's OkCupid, there's Match, there's Hinge. Plug for Hinge. My son, strangely enough, is the data scientist there. So love Hinge. It's actually a great company. They call themselves the Tinder for relationships. Plus you have Tinder and all these other things. There's a lot of competition. So being negative is a great way to get rid of the best men really quickly. So speak up, but speak up from that place that inspires the right man to write to you. It doesn't seem that complicated, right? Now I understand a lot of women are angry. They've been screwed over by guys. They're disappointed in guys. Guys flit around. The culture today makes it very easy for guys to flit around. It makes it easy for women as well. Less so, I think, over 40. I think younger women have a lot more desire to just like taste different flowers as they, like men tend to. You've got to compete. You've got to inspire in the beginning. Doesn't mean you can't be a real person. I can hear the objections. Well, that's not real. That's putting on a mask. No, you're putting together your positive self. And when you get to know someone, then you can, bring out, like I said, you have a bad day, you have a negative feeling. That's okay. But they already know you. But if you put that up front, they're not even going to get to know you, right? So you want to call out the best in men by presenting your best, because the best in men will never respond to negativity. So just take those negative things, make them positive. I think it's actually in the book. So for example, women will say like, don't write to me if you live in your mother's basement. So what you say is, going back to what we were talking about before, what I really admire is a man who has created financial stability and is responsible. I find that really sexy. The adding, I find it really sexy, wakes him up. Oh, the fact that I'm stable is sexy? I thought I had to be 6'2" and look like a model. But now, wow, maybe I'm the guy she actually wants. And he might be your perfect husband because he is stable and kind and reasonable and not, he doesn't go off to Vegas and gamble and shit like that. There's a great book by my friend Lori Gottlieb called, Mr. Good Enough. I think marry him, the good enough. And she was a, hotshot young D-girl here, development girl in Hollywood, which means, usually women in their 20s, early 30s who work for producers and they read the scripts and they're the smart ones who really make things happen. And they had the world by the balls. Everybody wanted them, right? And so she and her friends played that and she says she turned down guys because they had, patches on their elbows or their socks didn't match. Or my favorite, they used the word fabuloso, which I think is hilarious. And so, or they were a little bit balding or they weren't as tall as they wanted. And they just said, nope to all these guys. And then these women hit their late 30s, 40s, and all those guys were married with kids and were wonderful fathers and wonderful husbands. And these women ended up with nobody because they made their judgments based on external lower game qualities rather than the really deep qualities that women really want. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Huge problem.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really liked is I want women to understand, and this, that the sexiest quality is confidence. Confidence is king. And what I love is when you say to a man, XX is sexy. I think when women can put that in a profile, it's a game changer because it shows how confident she is, but also it's giving a man a roadmap to what he needs to win this woman's heart.
Yes.
And that is so amazing that you just documented that. And I don't want women to like glass over that.
No.
That for me is such a game changer online and such a great way to speak up. It was just fabulous. So thank you.
Tell us what to do. Tell us what to do. David Data, someone I worked with him for 2 years, has a great statement. He says, women are crazy or men are idiots. And the reason why women are crazy is because men are idiots. And what he means is by that, on a neurological level, is that men have not developed the social signaling. What we call women's intuition is real. It's an intuitive skill set that women have developed in their brain to read social signals because over the course of our hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, women were together with the kids and they could read who's safe, who's not safe. Is this woman on my side, not on my side? Whereas men spent most of our evolutionary history, like 95% of our evolutionary history, hunting. And hunting, there's one thing you don't do. You don't talk, and you don't really care about social signals. You care about hitting your goal. So men have not developed, on the whole, there are some who have, maybe you, maybe me, right, guys, who are particularly sensitive to social signals. Men don't pick up social signals. So that's why women think men are idiots. And because we don't pick up social signals or those subtle signals, women go nuts because they want, the statement is, if you love me, you would know what I was feeling. And the male response should be, no, I love you. Tell me what you're feeling. And I'm happy. It's my honor to serve you. But tell me what you want. Like, don't make me guess, because we actually don't generally have the neurological equipment to read. And again, comedy is a great one. I think it's also him, Owen Benjamin. He talks about women will say, I'm fine. I'm fine. And then he'll walk at a party and say, are you okay? And she goes, fine. And then they'll leave. And she goes, how come we didn't leave an hour ago? And says, I asked you. You said you were fine. She didn't say, I didn't say I was fine. I said, I'm fine. And he's supposed to know the difference. Now, women may be able to read that, but most men can't. So be direct. Speak up. Tell your truth. Give men roadmaps. That's a great term, by the way. I'm glad you used that. Let us know how to win with you, because men like to win.
Yes. Adam Gilad, folks. And what really impressed me is he did the whole book in probably like 5 minutes, and then we just talked about other stuff. So,
there's so much.
A pure genius, but obviously you need to read the whole thing so you learn a lot more.
Please do.
Yeah.
I like the book. It's a lot of good information, really hands-on stuff. And please visit adamgilad.com and check out adamgilad.com/smart, because I really like pulling out the gems from the best books out there and giving, so you don't have to read. Because I like to read all these books, but not everybody has the time. I totally get that.
I love that. Like, we don't know each other that well, but I am all about efficiency. And that's what I try to provide my people is like, I'll read books too, and I'll give it to them in 2-minute YouTube videos. And
Wow.
Clearly you've already built a system for that, because no one has time for that. They are in the business world. They're making their money being experts at lawyer, doctor, carpenter, you name it. And now all we do is love all day. And so we want to give you that in as quick as possible.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's great. I look forward to getting more into your work. It sounds like you're doing great stuff.
Thank you. Well, Adam, you are clearly a genius and smart and not an idiot.
I have glasses, so maybe I'm a genius.
You must be a genius. Well, anyway, thank you so much for spending time with us. This was wildly helpful. I learned a lot. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.